Good morning, beloveds. I'm running wicked behind today. Um, but that's what it is. So, uh, let's get on with this. I went to see a show last night. I love Clue. The movie Clue. I'm a huge Tim Curry fan. And I believe Clue is my favorite thing he's ever done. And so it was like, I went to see it. And I went to see it because I knew one of the actors in it. And I love this actor. And so, and it's community theater. And it's a really good theater. And every actor in there was really good. And the young man who did the Tim Curry role, Wadsworth, so good. So good. All right. It is October 22nd. Our title is Give Without Fear. Our author is F. Bernadette Turner, and this was published in Aspire in March of 1976. And she is from the Divine Science Federation. All right. Some form of the word give is used over 600 times in the scriptures. Of all its dictionary definitions, to surrender is probably the most descriptive spiritually. Giving ourselves materially, emotionally, and prayerfully is surrendering to the will of God. This is divine ascendancy. All these times our better self takes dominion. When we give without fear, we are not concerned about limiting ourselves because we know that with an inward knowing that God's supply is inexhaustible. It is through this understanding that we are enabled to give freely. Giving is loving. The love that evolved from a Christ-like consciousness is reflected in one's life and has a salutary effect upon the lives of others. James Russell Lowell wrote, "She doth little kindnesses that most leave undone." It is these little kindnesses which are characteristic of the fearless giver. They are not measured. They are gifts from the heart. They are God motivated. Truly, the only joy I keep is what I am giving away. Okay. So, yeah. I talk about random acts of kindness. If you want to change your mood, especially if you're in kind of a grumpy mood or a sad mood or anything like that, if you do random acts of kindness, that the science has shown that is one of the ways that you can change your mood. Volunteering is another. When you volunteer, you are giving of your time, your energy, your space. And I talk about this. I talk about loving recklessly, spending love recklessly. I don't advocate loving recklessly. That's a whole different issue. But spending love recklessly. The reason being is, as with kindness, with compassion, with love, generally like mercy and grace and wisdom, we have the ability to plug into an inexhaustible source. We plug into a source of inexhaustible love, inexhaustible. It's a well that it can literally never run dry. If God is not bound by time and space, therefore God's love is not bound by time and space and can never run out. So when we talk about giving without fear, then that's what we're talking about. We're talking about the love, kindness, mercy, things like that, where when you plug into an inexhaustible source, then you can give and continue to give because it's coming through you, not from you. It's not going to, that kind of giving is not going to wear you out. That kind of giving is absolutely not going to wear you out because you're plugged into an inexhaustible source. And that's what she's saying in that last couple of lines. She quotes James Russell Lowell, she doth little kindnesses that most leave undone. Those are the random acts of kindness. Those are the gentle little things that we do, that we could do every day. Letting somebody in on the highway, smiling at somebody as you walk past them. They don't cost you anything. They don't cost you anything. All of those little things that we can do. And then when we give of our time, when we go and volunteer, in whatever that looks like for us. I mean, we loved doing the mobile food events. We are not the ones that stopped doing that. The food bank is the one that put us on pause and then never contacted us again. And we were just like, so, you know, we look around at other things that we can do as a service as a center to be of service to our community. And because it makes us feel good, and we're providing a service to the center. So when she's asking us to surrender to the will of God, and that's terrifying, I get it, unless you have come to the understanding of God, you know, or what we like to call the God of our understanding. If you grew up with the same God that I did, you know, the Christian God, or, you know, like we didn't grow up with the Jesus God. We grew up with the Old Testament God, you know, the eye for an eye God. And then they introduced us to Jesus and we're like, this doesn't make sense. How can Jesus? So, you know, it's like, so that's where you have to go back and come to your own, you have to come to your own relationship with God. You have to be willing to give up that notion that we were all taught of this old man in the sky, in a chair, judging us, holding a book. You know, we have to be willing to give that up if we're going to surrender to the will of God. And to look at the God that Jesus described and go, okay, this is a notion I can get behind because it's a loving God. It's a God that always says yes. And when we come to that understanding that, you know, and that's why Science of Mind will use other words. They will use divine mind and divine pattern and, you know, things like that to remind us it's not a personality. And more importantly, it's not a judging personality. So that's the reminder is, okay, so here's the situation. So when we come to that understanding of God, surrendering to the will of God is a whole lot easier because we understand that God is never going to ask us for more than we have because that God is constantly channeling what that God is asking us to bring into the world through us. That God has an open channel for love, for kindness, for compassion, for mercy, for all of that. And it's that we plug into and channel through us. It's not coming from us, it's coming through us. And the amazing thing is that when we are willing to surrender and then give without fear of all of this, you know, stuff, it's incredibly healing when it comes through us. We're not trying to hold on to it. It's not backing up the system because we're desperately trying to hold on to something we don't think we have enough of. We are allowing the love and the kindness and the compassion and the healing and the mercy and the grace to come through us. And it does us so much good. And as we get comfortable with the idea of that inexhaustible source, then we can spend it more recklessly. We can spend joy, we can spread joy recklessly. We can spread love recklessly because we know it's never going to run out. That it's constantly coming through us. So that is, okay, F. Bernadette Turner is, giving ourselves materially, emotionally, and prayerfully is surrendering to the will of God. This is the divine ascendancy, and at these times, our better selves take dominion. When we are willing to surrender to the love, the kindness, the compassion, our higher self, the self that God knows is what steps into the foreground, and we make different choices. We make different choices. I often say this should rock you back on your heels. You should be willing to think about what it is because you're not giving up anything. In fact, you're signing up for more. When you let love channel through you're signing up for more. When you let joy channel through you're signing up for more. And that's really the way it works, you know? It's like the more joy that you give away, the more joy that you have. The more love that you give away, the more love that you have. It's kind of neat how that works. Okay. When we give without fear, we are not concerned about limiting ourselves, because we know that an inward knowing, we know with an inward knowing that God's supply is inexhaustible. And that is the way you want to live. That's the way you want to live, knowing that God's supply is inexhaustible. It is through this understanding that we are enabled to give freely. Giving is loving. The love that evolved from a Christ-like consciousness is reflected in one's life and has a salutary effect on the lives of others. When we are willing to give joy and peace and harmony and love and kindness and compassion freely, when we are unstinting, then the people around us benefit from it. And ideally, you know, they see it, and then they can start to do it themselves. And so then they become divine channels for this love. We are connected to an inexhaustible source. It is up to us to act like it. And that would be the mission today. The mission today, should we choose to accept it, is to act like we are connected to an inexhaustible source of, pick one. Pick one. Pick love, pick joy, pick peace, pick happiness, pick whatever it is that you want to practice channeling through yourself, and act as if it's an inexhaustible source. And see how the people around you respond. So I like to be an inexhaustible source of funny, but joyful funny. So I love to give away smiles. I love to help other people create their smiles. And in the end of the day, that's my goal, is to give you one more lighter moment than you might have had. One more lighter moment than you might have had. I like to remind myself that I am an island of peace. I am an island of calm. So if you meet me in your storm, I want to be a safe place for you to rest. I am not going to allow you to bring your storm to destroy my beach, but I will give you a safe place to rest. And that's where the other part of the mission for the day comes in, which is to do something loving for yourself, do something kind for yourself, do something compassionate for yourself. That is the spiritual practice of self-care. And it's as simple as taking a deep breath before you speak. But it is about getting to know yourself well enough that you can be an island of peace surrounded by somebody else's storm, and not let it breach your boundaries. Okay. When you learn to create that heavenly mindset, then other people's storms will not disturb your peace. But what you can then provide is that space for them to rest, to get themselves together while they work on their storm. We can't get other people out of their storms. Yes, we can help them most of the time by giving them a place to rest and by holding up our light. And so when you do loving, kind, and compassionate things to yourself, for yourself every day, and you practice on yourself, and you create that as a first response, you create that as a habit, then you can respond to people with love, kindness, and compassion, no matter what is happening. And that's what I'm talking about, that being that island of peace, giving them a break in their storm. Would I love to live in a world where nobody was in a storm, that everybody was an island of peace? Absolutely. This is what I work for. I don't have to be an island of peace in someone's calm, or an island of peace in someone's storm. But until we get there, I do that by practicing love, kindness, and compassion on myself. I do that by praying up when things are good, so that when things get a little messy, I'm already connected to that inexhaustible supply of love, kindness, and compassion. And more importantly, I'm in the habit of knowing what to do. When things go sideways, I go to God first. That's love, kindness, and compassion, practicing on myself. I am my own best test subject. You are your own best test subject. I encourage you to practice on yourself. And it does look like taking a deep breath before you speak. And I'm a big believer of turning it off and turning it back on, which looks like taking a walk or taking a nap. You know I'm a big believer in eating dessert first, because I believe that chocolate is the first step to fixing anything. But more importantly than that, the deeper metaphysical meaning of that is to not save the good stuff. We don't know how long we have. None of us know that. And so by eating dessert first, we go out of our way to make the ordinary extraordinary a little more often. Okay? And that looks like making sure that we wear the fancy clothes occasionally, a little more often than we might have. It looks like, using the fancy dishware more than just on the holidays. It looks like burning that nice candle before it gets sticky and dusty and doesn't smell the way when we bought it. That's what I'm talking about. Make the ordinary extraordinary a little more often. Practice on yourself. And then I do talk about joy, and I'm talking about spending joy recklessly, because joy is a quality of God. Well, if joy is a quality of God and you're made of God, then joy is a quality of you. No matter what is going on in the world, no matter what is going on in your life, you deserve joy. I'm asking you to make room for it. Just a little bit. Make room for it. All right, beloveds. The rest of the suggestions are basic, easy ones. And let me remind you, whatever else is going on in the world, you deserve your own love. You deserve your own kindness. You deserve your own compassion. Practice on yourself. The rest of the suggestions are basic self-care. Do something to engage your mind and your body, whatever that looks like for you. I went to the gym today. Drink plenty of water. You already have seen my water glass once. I'm definitely doing that hydration thing. Your brain works better, your body works better, and your skin looks better when you're well hydrated. So drink plenty of water. It doesn't get better in the winter, because then we turn the heat on and all of us get dehydrated. Drink plenty of water. And then open the windows of, early in your morning, bright light. I'm kind of looking forward to the time change, because we got to the gym before the sun came up and I could see the hints of color, and I was like, well, this could be a pretty sunrise, but I was already in the gym by the time it happened. So, it is what it is. But from 7 to 9 in the morning, the sun is hitting the earth at the perfect angle to stimulate your circadian rhythms, which is a hormone thing, and to give you extra vitamin D, which is important for your bones and your thyroid and your mood and your immune system. So, it's helpful, and it's only 5 to 10 minutes. That's all it takes. So I encourage you to do that. And then I am going to remind you, my Ernest Holmes quote. Oh, if you don't get out for the sunlight, artificial light will work too. It's 5 to 10 minutes of bright light, blue light, on the face and forearms. Okay. I'm going to give you my Ernest Holmes quote. Open the windows of your soul. Allow the breath of heaven to remind you, you do live in heaven right here, right now. It's all around us all the time. Okay. So what that means is that heaven is a mindset, which is what I was alluding to in the reading today about giving without fear. Heaven is a mindset. It is a state of consciousness. Once we learn to create it, because we come pre-installed with it. Jesus said the kingdom of God is within you, okay? So we come pre-installed with that Christ consciousness. She says Christ-like, I say Christ consciousness. You already have the Christ consciousness within you. Everybody in the world has the Christ consciousness. We come pre-installed. Everybody calls it something different, but you know what I'm talking about. Heaven ceases to be a place that we have to get to and can become any place we are. If you want to talk about grace, that's it. It's a mindset. It is a state of consciousness. And once you learn to create it for yourself, nobody can take it away from you, which makes it a superpower, because then heaven can be anywhere you are. That's where you become the island of peace. That's where you can become a safe space for people to rest from their storms. They don't get to bring their storms into your peace. Okay? That's what boundaries are for. But you can become a safe space if they're willing to let their storm rest for a minute. And as always, you can take Emma Curtis Hopkins' advice, look for the good and praise it. Count your blessings, random acts of kindness. She doth the things that most would leave undone. The little things that most would leave undone. It's an interesting quote. James Russell Lowell. But that's what a random act of kindness is. All right? So, count your blessings, random acts of kindness. Let's go on and see what this looks like. All right, beloveds. I think I need to move into the next part, which is the social media. We are Creative Life Spiritual Center, Creative Life Spark. I am the running Rev Ryan on the social medias that I am on. I encourage you to check into them. There's lots of amazing content. There are hours of content on both the Facebook and YouTube channels. And then I would also remind you that if you want to know what's going on with the center, email info@creativelife.org. That'll get you on the constant contact, and those hot links are hot. So you will find out, like today we have a workshop after service that's going to be really interesting from one of our distance practitioners who's in the house today. So that'll be fun. And like the Soul Session playlist is really good. It's really good. That's where we get all kinds of different people talking about all kinds of different things. You want to hear somebody else's story? Go do that. Okay. Where am I? Yeah. Oh, and the hot links are hot. If it says click here now, it'll either take you right to the information you want or to the person that can help you get it. Okay. I am on to the part where I get to encourage you to have a great day, a wondrous day, a fantastic day, a magical day, an enchanted day, a wonderful day, an awesome day, an amazing day, a kindness day, a compassionate day, a loving day, a giving without fear day, a recognizing your divine channel day, a plugging in day, a getting stuff done day, a taking a break day, a planning for the next week day, a hey, we got a vacation coming up day, a good day. And if that is too much pressure, simply have a day. You are enough, just as you are. You are a beloved child of God in whom God is well pleased and well represented. You are a brilliant light. You are a divine spark. You are spirit in motion. You are God in action. Or as Reverend Jesse likes to call us, you're a godling. All right, beloveds. Reverend David should be on around 5 p.m. with you. I will be back with you around 9 a.m. tomorrow. But we do have an amazing service for you at 11 and a workshop right at 1:30. So there is stuff going on. I did forget to remind you to explore the truth of your being, but that's what today was about. Peel back the layers of who you've been told you are and get to know who God knows you to be. All right? Forget what society and religion and culture and people and gender normatives. Forget all that stuff. Get to know who God knows you to be. All right, beloveds? Take care of yourself. Know that you are loved, and I will see you next time.